Hello, Kurt Jackson here with this week's installment of Your Money Matters. Today we're going to talk about women and retirement realities. I found this article in Life Health Pro that you wouldn't see normally, but it was something that had some really great information that I wanted to share with you. And look, I understand that a man talking about women's issues, I don't know, however you want to view that. I know that women tend to trust other women more, and that's great. I think that's great. But don't shut all men out especially in the financial advice area. Unfortunately, there's not as many women in the industry, and since what we talk about here is so differently from traditional financial planning, there's even fewer women, it seems like, that are in the alternative retirement strategies realm that I'm in. So just because I'm a man, don't necessarily believe that I don't have women's issues at the forefront of how I care, of what I care about. While I'm not a woman and I'm not claiming to fully understand all women's issues, I will tell you this. A little more than 16 years ago, I became the father of my first of two daughters. So as you can imagine, women's issues have become to the forefront of my thinking. And as I've developed my financial planning, financial practice, women's issues have become more and more important to me because I'm concerned about what my girls are going to face. And so I've learned a lot more about what women are facing. And I've found that our alternative strategies end up being fit perfectly into what most women need and want through their financial planning and retirement lives. So I want to share some of this information. Basically, it goes into it talks about with the jobs report that was released back in February. It was pretty positive, and they're concerned that interest rates are going to go up and how that might impact women that are going to retire in the get close to retirement in the near future, or really even at any point in time are going to retire, even when they look at longer. While there's still, there's a wage gap, there's retirement gap between men and women, and it seems to be closing, and I certainly hope that it is. It's just something that we really need to address, and it means that women really need to make sure that they're making all the right moves. You really need to be smarter than the men do, because you may have less to work with. I hope that makes sense. So it looks like the reasons why that women are behind in saving is their stagnating wages. That's impacting everybody. The wage gap between men and women. Women earn about a quarter of what overall, women earn about a quarter of what men do. Black women earn about a quarter less than what men do. I apologize for that. Black women earn about 30% less, and Hispanic women about 40% less. So women have less to work with, so that definitely means you got to be smarter and more efficient with what you do. The next thing is kind of women in the workplace. Women don't tend to start their careers in management positions, or they're not necessarily the ones that are first ones getting these promotions. Only 5% of CEOs in the Fortune 500 are women. The 401k, they call it the gender gap, is bigger than the gender wage gap, meaning an average man's 401k savings was around 100,000, while the average woman's was around 59.3. 40% less that's about 40% less. So first of all, let me point this out. Okay, maybe it's a little side note. Even if a man only has 100 grand in there as an average, that's not enough. So it's certainly not enough for you. So when I talk about the alternative plans and why I feel that they're better, is I look at the current model and see that it's failing miserably, and there's all kinds of evidence that shows that that's the facts out there. So when I'm talking about these things, anybody who adapts these alternative retirement strategies that we talk about, there's no doubt in my mind they're going to be much better off in the future. So you women really need to learn about these and make sure you fully understand them, to see if they might fit in better with what you're trying to do. We can make less money, do more, and if you have more money, great, you get to do even more. Women are leaving the workforce to care for their children and the elderly. All right, this is great. Women are great caregivers. They're more nurturing than men, but it hurts you financially because you give up wages. You give up at that point in time. You might give up promotions and all of those things. So you're losing that, and it impacts your Social Security, which I'll get into here shortly. So, and then when you re-enter that workforce, you lag behind in the pay and the promotions. It can hinder your career progress. It can be argued that even when you're younger, you may not get promoted because they may see you as leaving the workforce to care for a child, whether you do or not, whether that's fair or not. I'm not here to talk about that part of it. I'm just talking about what it is. It is what it is, and it's the system that we need to work within. There's battles you can fight, but I'm here on the financial end, and I want to try to help make sure that you're doing the best things possible with your money. Okay, so next up is women in Social Security. Since you're leaving that, I touched on this earlier, you're leaving that workforce, getting away, that means you're missing out on some of the growth in Social Security. In fact, Social Security looks at your 35-year work history. So they take your highest 35 years, and if you're in your late 30s or early 40s, let's say, and you step away to raise children, or maybe it's your late 40s, early 50s, and you step away to care for a mother or father or a mother-in-law or father-in-law, you're missing some prime earning times that would have helped your Social Security benefits be higher. So we want to make sure that you understand that, and you also. Social Security is so misunderstood. We do some planning things we do a lot of planning things with Social Security because it's actually a phenomenal source of retirement income. If you manage it properly, it can actually be a significant amount, which is really key for women, because you'll find here that 65% of women, 30% of women over 65 rely solely on Social Security. So that's sad in and of itself, but then let's make sure that Social Security is more. There's widow's benefits. Do you know the average age of one becomes a widow is between 58 and 59? That kind of surprised me. You've got divorce. If you've been married for more than 10 years or more, there are some benefits that you can still utilize to help in a planning strategy for Social Security to help boost your Social Security without having to wait as long as you have to get it maximized to be able to take some income earlier from your ex. Now, some people are like, well, good, that'll stick it to him. Now, it doesn't impact his benefits, but we might as well take advantage of those if they're there for you. So there's tons of Social Security planning strategies for you. If you're single, there aren't as many. If you're married, there's a ton of them. So there's something that you really need to know, because I'm not talking chump change. I'm talking for a married couple, you could add up to $10,000 or more per year in income in retirement through these Social Security planning strategies. So they're big. It's very powerful. So what the article starts to talk about here is and it's key, although I don't necessarily fully agree with all of this, but they're talking about what if the old method of trying to save for enough for retirement doesn't work for women. Well, I'm telling you, the old way isn't working for men either, typically. So that in my mind, that's a given. So some of the new strategies that this author talks about are needed is, if you're going to thrive in retirement, is you need to consider working longer. Okay, well, all right, fine. But is that the answer? Should that be the answer? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe there's better ways. Talk about working part-time in retirement. I hope what I try to create with my clients is, if you want to work in retirement part-time, you can. We hope it's not that you have to. But a lot of people like to work a little bit. They like to have that interaction. It keeps them young, doing some stuff, but not necessarily what you were doing. Maybe it's something that you really love to do. Consider non-traditional residence sharing, rented out empty bedrooms, getting a roommate, downsizing. With the savings from reduced housing expenses, you could make financial investments in income-producing vehicles. Women could also turn to their hobbies, for which they have the skills, tools, and materials, maybe into a profitable home-based business. I think that's a phenomenal idea. Not only does it create some income, but it gives you something to do. We think about retirement from, I'm a man, so from a man's, I'm going to retire and fish and play golf. Well, look, there's 24 hours a day, 7 days a week that you're retired. You might sleep, 8 to 10, so that leaves 14 hours or more per day to do stuff. You're not going to play golf and fish all that time. So you want to find things that you enjoy doing. If you're married in retirement, you want to find things you enjoy doing together and apart. So whether it's social, whatever those things are. So keep that in mind. The alternative retirement strategies that we utilize, they help protect your money. They help grow it safely. We're able to provide lifelong income, and that income that we provide, we're able to create more income from less money, which means less resources. We help you find ways to reduce taxes. I already talked to you about the Social Security planning. We find ways to tremendously boost your Social Security. And we also have tools that will provide financial help if you need long-term care. And ladies, you're living longer. Right. The most recent, let me see if I can remember this. Don't quote me on this one, but the most recent actuarial studies from last year, a 65-year-old man has a 50% chance to live past age 86, and a 65-year-old woman has a 50% chance to live past almost age 89. That's a long time in retirement. And sadly, for once you reach 65, there's a 70% chance you're going to require some form of specialized care, long-term care, whether it's in-home care, assisted living, nursing care. I mean, they're coming up with memory units, all kinds of different things now, depending on what your needs are. And those are very expensive. So you're going to want to make sure you've got resources to help pay for those things if possible. And the alternative retirement strategies that we have do that phenomenally. So, well, like I said earlier, while women advisors may better understand you, if they're a traditional financial advisor, I'm going to tell you that the tools that they have are not as good as these alternative retirement strategies that we have, the tools inside of those. I've done a ton of research on it, and that's what I found time and time again. And it just happens to work even better for women since you do live longer. You've got, and these are just the numbers. I'm not the one that I'm not the one that makes these up, but what they find is women have less money and less income that they lived on beforehand. So we need to find ways to take less money and create more with it. And these alternative strategies do a much better job than the traditional ones do. So keep that in mind when you're thinking about this. So don't just believe that just because it's a woman financial advisor that she may understand you better, but she may not have the tools in her arsenal to actually give you all of these types of things. So make sure you explore, find out if they're following all the traditional advice, or if they know these alternative retirement strategies. If you're interested in finding out about these alternative retirement strategies, my information will be up on the screen. You can shoot me an email. You can call me. There's even on the bottom line of the information up there, if you wanted to schedule a smart retirement strategy session, no cost, no obligation, we can do that online, and you can schedule that right there. So keep those things in mind, folks. I hope that you found some value in this, ladies. I'm hoping there's women watching this. If you found value in it, share it with your friends. Women need to know these things. We all need to know these things, but women especially. If you're living longer, you've got less resources to work with. If the man's following traditional thinking, you're going to have even less money to work with after he's likely gone, probably before you. So keep these things in mind, and I hope that I could become a resource for you to at least explore them. If we're not on the same page, hey, we're not on the same page, but at least you were able to educate yourself and find out there are other alternatives and decide whether or not they're for you or not. So I hope you have a great week. Look forward to speaking with you next week. If you're finding value in these, once again, share the link. Let people know that we put these up every Wednesday. They're here, they're free, and we try to find informative topics that'll help you out financially. So have a great week, and we hope to see you next week.